do our victory lap, shall we? I thought it was funny that as soon as everybody started figuring out who he was, who his VTuber account was, he started blocking absolutely everyone. He was blocking everyone. He was untagging himself in posts. So he was very obviously looking at everything and panicking. And I always find it very interesting that the amount of shit that these people have given me, I never left the internet. Throughout every single one of their attacks and their lies and their fucking articles and their actual Indians making articles on top of the other articles and even getting doxxed and having to leave my apartment and live in the middle of fucking nowhere without my cats, right? Like, I never left the internet. I stood through the entirety of all of their barrages. And yet, as soon as they even get like a whiff of any kind of backlash, they immediately start crying about how they're a victim and how they're being forced to leave the internet like Anal Violence was claiming. Or like Vint, who just shuts the fuck up and runs away like he claims everyone else does. Like these people could not survive a fraction of what they visited upon my head. And it's so nice to see exactly how fucking disgusting and cowardly they all are. Did you see that Kenny, the Pippa, Rima, and Tomoe editor, was friends with Vint? To be fair, so like I get that when you edit for people, you usually put their name in your bio, right? But if you're then gonna go on some like retard campaign to cancel people, much less try and ruin financial opportunities for someone who is a friend of the name of a person in your bio, maybe you should have the self-awareness to remove those names so you don't cause people any fucking issues? Like, holy shit, what's wrong with you? You edited one clip about Nijisanji. Can you put Nijisanji EN top clipper in your bio? I guess at this point, right? Kenny was untagging himself from posts and blocking people too. Yeah, he is an absolute duplicitous snake and he should not be trusted in any way, shape, or form. And I got some DMs from other people spreading around more reasons why he should not be trusted, but I'm not gonna go into details on that unless they give me permission to. But it's like he is not something that should be given the benefit of the doubt, and he is not someone that should be believed when he tries to claim to be impartial. It is absolutely disgusting after what he did to me to try and claim, oh no, I wasn't supporting it. I was just saying, you know, I don't agree with these. No, shut up, you disgusting weirdo. Pippa said herself she only worked with Kenny twice, and that was 2 years ago. She tweeted about it and was pissed. He still had her name in his bio. She should be. Like, if I was in her position, I would have gone to Fishman and I would have been like, tell this guy to take my fucking name out. What is he doing? Like, he's been on this like weird fucking crusade with people's names in his bio for a year. You know, like, I would have gone fucking crazy. Not the first time this shit causes problems. Yeah, right? And then Vint saying Kenny is a good friend after like a year of Kenny pretending to not know him is hilarious. Yeah, very much so. All these people do is lie. All they do is lie. When will the lies end? It's almost like when people started looking into him and finding out who he was, he panicked and started caring about things like privacy and mean words, decided to go full victim. But we keep receipts here at Kirsche.com. Internet never forgore. We do keep receipts, and that's why even Anal Violence wasn't able to claw back claiming they were a victim. There were like a handful of people that would try parroting the whole like, Kirsche was the one who sent a harassment campaign as an innocent trans journalist. No, actually. I made fun of Anal Violence because they were trying to go after Vialore, and I managed to pull aggro from them trying to go after other VTubers. It's an ungrateful, it's a thankless job, but you know, someone's gotta do it. And Helmet Boy down here saying something very, very poignant. The moment you dox someone, no matter the reason or circumstances, don't complain when it happens to you. You step into a dangerous game the moment you do it. Binty Boy lived by the sword and is dying by the sword. And then here we see, is this you in the same Discord as the guy who harassed Tomoe for wanting to stay apolitical? And Kenny obviously untagged himself. And we later saw a screenshot, I don't know which screenshot it is, but we later saw a screenshot of fucking Alexis Kunzaitis Bint, of Kenny having the VIP badge in fucking Binty Boy's original account chat. And I was like, wow, someone pretending to be a neutral observer was actually an infiltrator for the harasser. I'd be shocked if it weren't so predictable. Genuinely does not surprise me that these people were like literal Who zero views, circle jerking each other, trying to take down larger creators they were jealous of. It makes a lot of sense why Bint was seething constantly about the amount of support and money that I was making. I like trying to perpetuate that I'm some sort of like government funded entity. Like, actually just losing his fucking marbles. Kirsche threw herself in the fire for the Violor girls. Anna Valenz was starting shit with Rima, and Kirsche took aggro. Canisu's her editor, and he joined in on the harassment campaign against Kirsche as a thank you. This is him with the crime boss shit back in the day. Cancel culture has eroded in meaning. Instead of being the attempt to deplatform a creator or significantly harm their public image, often unjustly, it now somehow means a single company choosing not to associate their brand with you after hearing your insane beliefs. I wonder, right, because Crime Boss wasn't facing any kind of public scrutiny, so it makes me wonder if these little fucking rats in their Circle Jerk Discord were the ones who sent messages privately to the Crime Boss people. That would be very interesting. Very interesting. I'm kind of tinfoiled out of my mind at the moment. Anything is possible. What insane beliefs. Yeah, that's literally not what cancel culture is. Imagine. Instead of being the attempt to deplatform a creator or significantly harm their public image, often unjustly. That's literally what was happening to me. That's literally why Vice took down those articles. That's literally why Bint is anally gaped. Like, come on now, bro. There's another one, Kenny reposting the fucking article, the first article that was written. I'm not even gonna say anything besides it's one of the articles of all time, Coffee newspaper, and then he links it for those interested. I bet he was fucking jerking himself off that his friend Alexis had the rights to all of the things inside the article. I know Bint was jerking himself off and even had it as a pinned tweet for a while. He was like, look, I've been cited as the main source in this article. Very fun thing to brag about, Binty boy. Being the main source in an article that I've already gotten taken down for libel. Very interesting brag indeed. Still can't believe they used the Kylari picture that makes you look like a badass. You know, they're only ever funny on accident. And then, obviously, Rin, who the fuck are you? Penrose makes 20 bucks during a stream. And Kenny responding with the bin my beloved when she dropped her sponsor because I am le evil fox you. By the transitive property, Bint is too retarded to realize he's a fucking liar. I think he knows he's a liar, but he gets off on the attention that eventually he just believes his own lies, you know? Jimbo weighing in saying, by the way, ain't no way someone that is that terminally online and into cartoon horses doesn't have some fur affinity or similar account. Look forward to people finding out his handle is Flutterfuck or something, and that he's into poop play. Now, I knew bronies existed, and I've seen the images of the bronies, like, tying up their Twilight Sparkle or Fluttershy plushies in some homemade BDSM, homemade own-a-hole insertions, right? I've seen that shit. One of Bint's accounts, in fact, the first account listed on his Chrome, is called Ponut. I had absolutely no idea what a Ponut is, so Curry Ringy coming in with some thick knowledge, replying to Jim saying, it already happened. This is one of his handles, and apparently Bint's account named Ponut, which also, can we take a second here? How did he actually get the name Ponut? I must have had that for a real long time. To be honest.
Oh, jeez, I just don't really want to do this, but yeah, you know, contracts and the sort.
But the Ponut is that little round thing in between the butt cheeks of My Little Pony porn that kind of looks like a donut. It's a term used by bronies to describe a pony's anus. Level 5 brony is fapping. Look at Twilight's stankin' booty hole. I wanna fuck it. OG brony says, shut the fuck up, kid. It's called a Ponut. Use the correct word or we'll pump a cap in yo ass. Imagine! Ponut the brown-eyed Aussie, what a funny day today is. He also went after Pippa, believe it or not. You stumbled onto a full circle of retardation. Welcome to the world of VTuber drama. And this isn't even the funniest shit. I think if Jim could learn just some of the wild shit going on in VTubing, he would be able to make an entirely new series like Tumblrisms. Right, like, there ain't no way. Pippa Pipkin sent her fans to harass Darkside Phil, a well-known Kiwi Farm stalking and harassment target, sending a raid basically just to fuck with him. She follows white supremacist VTuber fan account Grixit, who hate stalks him daily.
Oh look, an idiot. Let's point and laugh.
Bint, how can you call Grixit a white supremacist VTuber fan account when you also dogged on fucking Trigger Point for being brown? Which one is it? Dear Aryan race savior, you are far browner than I expected. Like, what? What are we doing here, Bint? Calls her Pippa Pipkin? Yeah, I know. Imagine Imagine being such a tourist that is how you say her name. It makes me think of like when Jim calls her that as a joke. It's like Asmin calling me Kirsche.
Everybody wave to the tourists. Wave to the tourists. Hello, tourists.
Never ask an Oshi the race of her biggest fan account. It's like whenever people are like, Kirsche's an avowed white supremacist. I'm like, yes, my giant army of Latin Americans. Man, imagine trying to claim the fucking Pippa harassed dork side film. That is the funniest fucking thing. That is so fucking funny. I posted this screenshot that somebody replied to Trigger Point with it, and I liked his post, and I forgot his name, but thank you. Thank you for posting this, because this is funny. Kazuhana back last year in August posted another Kirsche post, take a shot, bro's obsessed. And it's Bint just doing Bint things because he is a weirdo. And Kanisu replying, I wouldn't even know Bint is talking about Kirsche if it weren't for these daily posts. Methinks the lady doth protest too much. And after all of the like trying to weasel his way away from being involved with Bint that Kenny was doing, considering he was a clipper, this makes me feel like he was one of the people Bint was talking about that was laundering him information. I mean, that makes me like, I don't even think that's tinfoil at this point. It's just like, yeah, that makes sense that Kenny was sending things to Bint. Caught rent-free lying once again. You duplicitous snake. But if I went into the Discord archive, I'd see him talking to Bint directly. Bint posted some screenshots, but it's like, you expect us to believe you didn't doctor these in any way, shape, or form? And that this was the only Discord you had? There weren't any DMs going on either? Yeah, okay, buddy. We had somebody going down the big history here. Nothing but human filth. The boys culminated on Christmas 2023. Selene released a music video literally a year in the making because Niji management was too lazy or incompetent to get the rights to the song. It was removed from her YouTube just over an hour later, and she was suspended for putting it out before full approval. We would later find out after her termination a month later, she was completely silent during this time, that she ended up trying to commit suicide twice during her suspension. Going to truncate the story quite a bit, but ultimately how shitty Niji is got fully exposed and their popularity literally imploded. Hundreds of thousands of subs and followers were lost across all active Niji talent at that time, and it is never recovered. And my memory is not the best, but I remember like a full fucking internal revolt. Like, her moderators were pointing everyone to her new channel. Everyone who was, like, somewhat intelligent was supporting her. Some of the talents on the inside made, like, that infamous black screen video. They tried saying, like, oh, not the talents, but the company tried saying, oh, the losses will be negligible. Right? Like, it was an entire ordeal. The fucking owner of the company ended up having to come out and make, like, a apology with that checkerboard screen in the back. Like, it was insane just how bad that situation was. And Bint was on the side of, let's just keep attacking Selene, because apparently he thought she was in the wrong. And now he gave a very, very unsincere, I'm sorry. Selene went back to her previous identity of Doki Bird and is now currently one of the largest independent VTubers in the English sphere. Nijisanji's popularity completely collapsed and their fan base was decimated, and it hadn't even come close to recovering now, 1.5 years later. During that time, Selene and Doki Bird had become the focus of their ire. The remaining diehard fans fully blamed Doki for the total collapse of Niji. And now, as to why Bint deleted all his tweets, during the suspension and for a bit after, Bint was one of the largest pro-Niji voices on Twitter. He was everywhere. He was constantly blaming Selene and Doki, calling her a quote-unquote BPD nutjob, and that what happened to her was her own fault. Total victim blaming. Documents trying to paint Selene as a master manipulator that was blackmailing everyone was created by former Nifco users and amplified by people like Bint. It was a full court press by Bint to try and salvage Niji's reputation. In the end, public sentiment looked too strong in Selene and Doki Bird's favor, and Bint ended up to look like a total nutjob. He's since shifted to pushing more progressive politics instead of purely Nijisanji stuff. I presume it's basically a means to try and rehabilitate his image. With how much he's been chasing on Kirsche for the 9 months, I think he's trying to claim her head to elevate his own image. And he absolutely was, by the way that he was bragging about how much damage he was doing to me. Kirsche finally formed the unholy trinity of haters, a rape fantasizer, a pony fucker, and a pedophile. Imagine! Judge me by the quality of my enemies. It is insane how almost every time someone comes out and tries to, like, lie about me and do damage, they have insanely more skeletons than I do. Chibi saying, anytime I see this dude on my timeline, he seems like the most miserable motherfucker to be around. Always harassing VTubers or content creators. And it's Bint saying, Blue Archive, Mushoku Tensei, and FaZe Connect fans all joining hands in a pro-rape coalition in my replies. If you're a fan of any of these things and not one of those people, I'm sorry. What in the fuck is he even talking about with this fucking logic, man? Like, I know that he lies all the time, but at least sometimes you can be like, oh, I can see how he made this lie up, right? This is just like, what the fuck? The pro-rape coalition. And then we have Trigger Point saying, we're making a lot of connections today. And he's quote retweeting a quote from April 22nd, 2025 in the middle of my harassment campaign. Some piece of shit named Rezi Orenji, EN VTuber, saying, fucking hilarious to me that chuds are trying to paint the author of the anti-Kirsche Vice articles as some degenerate gooner when they literally have Grums on their side leading the charge. Yeah, you know, Grums may have ghost-written some weird, like, lesbian fucking wrestling fanfiction online, but that's way different than anal violence shoving a vibrator inside themselves and playing Fall Guys and having that vibrator get triggered by interactions with players in the game. And then also admitting they have POCD. I'd say that's real fucking different. And also, that's kind of a strange whataboutism to pull. Why are they so obsessed with Grums? I have no idea. I have no fucking idea. Trigger Point saying, we're making the connections though. The Peak and Excess of Glam Metal, Episode 2, on Rezio Renji's channel. And he has Alexis Kunzite listed in the video. Interesting. Me coming in and saying spooky level gay ops. They even collabed once, the music talk stream. I don't know if I want to hear the voices, man. Dragoons need to watch out. Seems like there's snakes among them too. February 10th, 2026, Vint said, I have more than a few friends who are Dragoons, people who actually watch her and appreciate what she gives. They're not on here invoking her pain as if it's the only thing she's ever been. I'm not afraid to say I was wrong about her, and I've said it over and over. You're trying to repent after the fact while you're still harassing other people? Like, nobody's gonna believe you. No one is gonna believe that your apologies are sincere. No one's gonna believe you sincerely changed your opinion on those things, right? Like, you can't be honest about a single fucking thing. Why would anyone think you're being honest about this? Come the fuck on. This is Anna Valenz's, additionally, Shota Lolly, etc. is an OCD trigger for me because I suffered from POCD for a very long time. I think my experience with POCD made me a lot more compassionate to people who have thoughts and feelings they can't help. POCD obviously stands for pedophile-themed obsessive compulsive disorder. When playing Fall Guys with a sex toy means for sex, tech, and consult in games. And this is making history as the first sex worker to stream sex toy support. Wanna give a fun fact that Anal Violence was celebrating how their hit piece article on me that I got taken down was apparently the biggest article of their career. What is vore porn and why do people love it? I remember talking about this article. Anal Violence posted something, what is vore anyway? Vore isn't rooted in sexual cannibalism, nor should it be confused with a literal physical desire to eat another person. Rather, vore is about power and control. Unlike its sister fetish, macrophilia, people without the fetish have a hard time understanding vore's appeal. Case in point, one parent asked Slate's sex advice columnist, Rich Juswick, for guidance on their teen's soft vore fetish. And this is the article that is linked in there called, How Do I Talk to My 12-Year-Old About His Very Specific Fetish? Not this shit again! Not this shito again. And then we have here somebody responding to Rima being like, hey, that editor of yours, you never talked about the Kirsche harassment campaign, and your editor seems to be buddy-buddy with one of the main ringleaders. Is there a reason you sidestep this? And you can see here in fucking Alexis/Bint's chat, Kinisu has the VIP badge, a big VIP energy for the Bint tard. And then we had the first person trying to stand up for Bint. And Curry saying, my friend isn't panicked, deleting content and locking socials. He's in fact winning, referring to this person named AKA Fox, saying, I won't say who because I'm not trying to help spread that info. But it seems like one of my good friends got doxxed. Here's a heads up. If one of your good friends gets doxxed, maybe don't confirm it publicly. Maybe don't give more credence to it being real publicly. Maybe help your so-called friend by shutting the fuck up, actually. Thanks for the confirmation. And like, if it's all true, it just shows that they look fantastic and have a successful relationship. Like, low-key, I imagine all the people celebrating their docs are kind of jealous. How are you gonna have great takes, speak out against hate, while still looking great, being educated, and having a lovely significant other? My friend is literally winning LOL.
You are coping and seething.
That's a really interesting way to say is a serial harasser of women and spends time complaining about how much money an anime foxwoman online makes instead of spending time on his significant other. That's very interesting. How interesting. I'm not owned. I'm not owned. I continue to insist as I slowly shrink and transform into a corn cob. They realize Vint has shared and applauded people's docs multiple times, right? If only they had any kind of self-awareness. And then we have a trigger point here, once again making connections, aka Fox VT, being a VIP in Alexis Binty Boy's chat. And back on May 14th, 2025, this piece of shit said, ignore Kirsche's cancel mob in the comment. You're so right. My cancel mob? Why you say fuck me for? Why you say fuck me for? I was the one getting canceled. I was the one having my sponsors bombarded. I was the one having to protect people around me. I was the one having to leave my apartment. Why you say fuck me for? Some person here saying, Kirsche won, hell yeah. And y'all lost. My comment literally made people slowly expose the bullshit behind your idiotic statements. Keep being sad when a random stranger on the internet made you lose your mind deep inside. Thank you, Kuma. Thank you, Bear Man. And then the Fox person responded, Kirsche lost her partnership with that game and is now unlisted as a partner at Uwu Market. Let's not forget when she was cut as a guest for Offkai and threw a fit. All she got was an article taken down, but didn't get any of that back. Weird way to win. Weird way to just give me a nice little list of things that Bint had a hand in making worse for me. I'm sure that won't at all cause any problems for him in the future. And I like how me being cut as a guest from Offkai, a lot of these people like to say I've been banned from Offkai. I've not been banned. I've never said that I've been banned. I was blacklisted from being on official panels at Offkai. I can still go and pay money and be a part of the con, but why would I give money to people that hate me? And if these people at Offkai hate me, there's a good chance that they hate you. Why would you give money to people that would cheer if you were killed? Why would you give, and we think back, when all of this was going on, there was that crazy woman who made a bomb threat on a GamerSupps booth because of their association with me. Why would you go to conventions and give money to people who would happily cheer on someone bringing a bomb to a convention? Why would you do that? And it's not throwing a fit when I get cut. It's rightfully being angry at a company deciding to play politics. I have always stated I don't want to bring politics to conventions. Conventions should be absolutely neutral ground, where it's all about VTubers and VTuber content. You shouldn't be talking about anything progressive or anything conservative or anything political. That's not what conventions are for. But I'm the only one saying that. So that's, this was an interesting thing. Yeah, I was like, what an odd thing to do. What an odd thing to do. With friends like that, who needs enemy? And we have another one here. Bint is a firm believer of accepting the consequences of your own actions, right? No one's jealous of him. There's a reason he went quiet, privated his account, and started deleting things. And we have an old tweet of his from 2024 when he was skinwalking as a Mint fan. He has a screenshot here of one of Sayu's tweets saying, I'll be honest, from having been dox attacked myself, no one deserves to be doxed. Those people also have to understand that when they spread hate in other ways, this is how it feels. Karma does come around. I hope they learn that bashing on others for content isn't great. And you know, it's really funny that he took umbrage with this back then, considering he spread around people's docs, he spread around hate, he tried to deplatform people, and it's all come right back around, hasn't it, Liam? And he said, karma does come around is a really funny take coming from someone who has an entire brand built on not being able to accept the consequences of her actions. Karma didn't come around for you. You had a shitty experience in a job you held for 3 months, and ever since you've been leeching off of the suffering of others to get noticed by whatever YouTuber will pity you or see a financial opportunity in you. Go fuck yourself. You mean kind of like you, Bint? Kind of like you trying to see a financial opportunity in getting others deplatformed? Kind of like anal violence seeing you as a provider of information to give them an in as the de facto VTuber journalist. Kind of like that. Kind of like maybe you had no allies who were real friends and they just wanted to use you. Interesting. This was a funny meme. Curry Ringy over here, showing us the hope maxing. After hope maxing about the quote-unquote renaissance of lefty Vtubing, Anna Valens is doom-pilled on the right-wing presence within the scene. Someone said, I have said this before, but if you are actually interested in influencing people beyond a narrow circle of 2 online journalists, you'll be making direct-to-camera videos on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you primarily post on text-based social media, then you're just dicking around. And Anal Violence responded, one of the most important progressive voices in Vtubing is a Twitter account that no one knows the identity of, but has effectively ushered in a renaissance in lefty Vtubing content by posting, quote-unquote, nbinted. I really do think all this stuff is very complicated, and enacting real change has many avenues. You know, it's really grotesque to say a renaissance in lefty Vtubing content. I do not want to see a renaissance in right-wing content in Vtubing. I want to see a return. I want to go back to less yapping about politics and weird people trying to get me killed and just play more video games. That'd be great. Can we go back to that? And after Mr. Liam here had all of his information leaked, Anal Violence saying, I don't think right-wing political extremism will go away in EN Vtubing. Right-wing political extremism is when we don't want politics infecting everything. And so we have to talk about how you parasites infect everything and try to shove your politics in everything. We don't want that. And if we don't want that, we have to make people pay attention long enough to gatekeep you fucking freaks. And then we can also stop talking about it. The industry is doomed to host constant tension between left and right-wing elements. It's a big tent, and under the larger political culture war dies, it'll always host a battleground for right-wingers trying to target and harass those deemed too left. Once again, the projection is unfucking real. It's unfucking real. All of us just wanted to grill. We wanted to chill and we wanted to play video games, and then you people came in and started throwing your weight around and demanding creators take one side or another. And to you people, silence is not only compliance, but it's also violence. And so anyone that doesn't inherently and publicly take your side is supposedly some kind of against you. When it's just most people don't want to talk about this shit. Most people don't want to deal with this shit. It's absolutely absurd to say that this is going to become a battleground for right-wingers. I don't want people to come in and start demanding VTubers and other content creators make some kind of statement on right-wing politics any more than I want them pressured into saying fuck ICE or whatever lefty position is the sweetheart of the day. Like, just let creators do whatever the fuck they want, man. And it's like, I feel for some of the viewers when they find out, oh, the VTuber I've been watching and I really enjoyed turns out to be an incredibly hateful, spiteful person that would cheer if I died. That fucking sucks to find out. You don't want Asmon or Brett Cooper of VTubers? Yeah. It's fucking wild. Like, I started speaking out about things because, like, I could see the writing on the wall of what was going to be happening in VTubing, just like what happened in comics and video games and other entertainment media. And I didn't want to see it happen here. And I've tanked the tax for it for years because everyone's like, oh, Kirsche is bringing politics. And it's like, no. I'm trying to get people to pay attention so that nobody has to talk politics. Anal Violence continues, I think the top VTubers in the indie space could have set an early standard insisting marginalized viewers and creators need to feel safe. That grifting and bigoted political extremism was and is morally unacceptable. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? I think, like, the biggest VTuber I can think of that made any kind of political statement is during the VTuber Awards, Project Melody made some kind of statement about Roe versus Wade being like a good and necessary thing that would be bad to see taken away. That's like the only like large VTuber I can think of making an overtly political statement. Anal Violence continues, the mindset was, your money is green and we need it, just be quiet on your poll, which should be the default mindset of people trying to make money. Yes, that's correct. As that one guy said that I keep confusing with Shaq, question mark? Even conservatives buy shoes. No one can fix it, and if you try to be the person that fixes it or pushes for change, you get cut down and targeted. They're talking about me! It's me! I got targeted for trying to keep things gate-kept. Unless a huge mess is behind you, or huge mass is behind you. And even then, you'll always be public enemy number 1 to the right, and they'll do things like threaten to physically assault you. That's really ironic, actually. Unsolvable in the industry because too much money is coming in from the right wing and right of center viewers who particularly have bigoted opinions and beliefs. Are you just admitting that people who hold more conservative beliefs tend to have more money than you freaks trying to change everything? That was a little interesting insight. As long as they control themselves in certain streams or Discord servers, they're allowed to spread their bigotry around the space. I imagine this is a kind of a call out to me telling you guys to behave when we go to non-political streamers' chats. That's not really spreading bigotry if I tell people I'm going to ban them if they bring up political topics to non-political streamers. As a content creator, I don't really have much control over what other people do, but I can at least try and be like, hey, don't be malicious actors elsewhere. Right? And for the most part, people understand, hey, yeah, I'd look like a piece of shit if I went and did that. Didn't this motherfucker stick a vibrator in his ass while playing an online game with children? Yes. And I got one thing right. There's a ton of center to right-leaning individuals that are fans and will donate. But Anna fails to understand that these people have a right to be here and vote with their wallet. Anime profile pics are the original denizens of the internet. And remember when they were always resoundingly made fun of? And remember in the 2016 election, how everyone said that anime profile pictures would not get Trump elected because they don't matter. And then anime profile pictures went ahead and got Trump elected. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? But with the inshitification of things, the VTubers started pushing back. 1 year ago, there weren't many VTubers pushing against identity politics. And his own attack on Kirsche and Vore emboldened a bunch of people to push back. Yeah, very much so. I think what happened to me last year made a lot of people realize that it doesn't really matter what you actually do. They're going to try and get rid of you. The minority of crazy Western VTubers are outnumbered by normal people, and anal violence feels threatened by that fact, and the left doesn't own Twitter anymore. He pretends like his insane leftist ideals are normal. They all think that they are normal. Vladimir Crystal, thank you. It's not our fault that people on the extreme left are unemployable. You were trained to work and work hard, distrust everything unless you research. And it's really weird that they're unemployable, and yet they try to attack the finances of people who are employable and who do right by their employer or their sponsors. It's like, again, look at Crime Boss and how much I had done for that game over multiple years. I was the marketing for that game. I was the only creator actively playing and shilling and giving out free copies of that game. And they thought that they were taking something away from me by getting them to cut ties with me. And it's like, yeah, good job. You took away a game that I unironically loved and I wanted to support, but I wasn't getting paid for it for years until recently. So the amount of money you caused me to lose is unironically negligible and doesn't matter. You took something away that I cared about, and you took more away from the dev team because now they have no one supporting them. And then, in a moment of irony, Smugalana quote retweeted Bintard and said, "You said you'd stop talking about Kirsche and couldn't even make it 24 hours without opening your retarded mouth again. You're terminally online. You'll be back because you simply can't help yourself. Don't forget to delete this tweet when you clock in tomorrow."
Today. Today. Not tomorrow. Today. Today.
And he didn't even wait till tomorrow. He responded and he said, "I think you should also take a break." Wait, what a nice comeback. Good job. Good job. That clip, I can't remember exactly how she says it, but there's a clip of fucking Alana that's like, Vint is like a machine that turns hate for people into just money and support or some shit like that. It's such a great fucking clip.
It's like Bint's body is a machine that turns retarded thoughts into viewers and money for the people he hates.
He also responded to a 62 follower account. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck, man? How ironic you really can't take a break. And someone posted a screenshot of Bint saying in 2024, "People who do drive-by mean comments and then immediately block you are so funny. I like to imagine a stranger coming up to me in the street, screaming in my face and then running away crying before I've even said anything." And look at that. The quote retweet is unavailable. Why is it unavailable? The tweet's still here. That means he must have blocked her. I guess that means he's the one running away crying in the middle of the street. What an interesting time. The jokes write themselves. They do. They really do. The bigotry was the friends we made along the way.